Yo, how's it going everybody? It's me, Arctic. In today's video, we're going to be going over a complete weapons guide for Kuki Shinobu. I'm basically going to be talking about the best weapon choice for her. I'm only really going to be talking about the weapons that are actually going to be good on her, basically ignoring the other weapons that actually are useless on her, just for the sake of time. But when selecting a weapon, we have to keep in mind that her complete damage from her skills and burst is actually going to be coming from HP, so stuff like attack percent isn't really going to matter at all on her. We're still going to be wanting crit stats and elemental mastery because she actually does have some good usage for elemental mastery in her kit. So starting off with the Blackcliff Longsword, this one's going to be a pretty solid option to use on her, relatively easy to get. This comes with a crit damage ascension stat up to 36%. Once again, attack percent isn't really going to matter too much on Kuki Shinobu unless you are using her normal attacks, but since the rest of her kit doesn't actually use that kind of damage, I don't really recommend it. And then the passive on this is pretty much useless on her, but mainly what we're just looking at is this crit damage substat. So anything that's going to give you a little bit better of a passive or something, or more crit damage is going to be better than this, but this is a good baseline to start off with. Longsword is going to be one of the better options for Kuki Shinobu because it does actually have a low base attack, but it makes up for that with a 61% energy recharge stat, which is going to be really good if you are running an Emblem of Severed Fate set on her, or just in general having your burst uptime. It is going to be very good. And then the passive, whenever you do crits, it's going to basically create some of these energy particles, which is going to further increase your elemental burst, and this actually can work really nicely with your whole team's energy economy as well, so I definitely recommend this weapon. Iron Sting is a good option to use. This is actually from the Blacksmith, and it comes with elemental mastery as its substat up to 165, so it's going to be giving you a good amount of bonus damage. And because her ascension passive actually converts I think 75% of elemental mastery into extra healing, and then 25% of that into extra burst damage, I'm pretty sure. So honestly, a very good stat to have. And then the passive on this, dealing elemental damage increases all damage by 6% for 6 seconds. And if you do have this at R5, that goes up to 12%, so you get 24% extra elemental damage at R5 of this, so it's definitely a very considerable weapon to use. Official Sword is going to be a great option to use on Kuki Shinobu. It does have a low base attack, and it does have a high energy recharge. The only real difference between this and the Favonius Sword is that the passives are different, so this one's going to basically reset the E-skill cooldown, which could be actually pretty good. Considering that Kuki Shinobu does decrease her HP whenever she casts her skill, which has some effects with her burst. I think the lower the HP that she has, the longer her burst duration is. So definitely could be pretty good. Galley Flash, no, I think this is going to be a solid option to use on Kuki Shinobu as well. Comes with elemental mastery up to 55 right here, so not too much elemental mastery. And the passive on this increases the damage dealt by the character by 12%, so not too bad right here. But it does say taking damage disables the effect for 5 seconds, so as long as this actually works as in taking damage, as in enemies dealing damage to you versus yourself sapping damage, because Kuki does actually decrease her own HP, I would be hesitant with this one. Black Sword is the battle pass weapon, and this is going to actually be a good option on Kuki Shinobu. Very good crit rate right here, 27%, so you're going to be sitting at a good I think 30% crit rate at minimum. So you might not even have to use a crit rate hat if you can get around 50% crit rate at least from just artifact substats. And then the passive on this, it's not really that useful, but it does increase their normal and charge attack damage. Festering Desire is probably going to be one of the better 4-star options, I would say, just because it comes with an energy recharge substat of 44% right here. And then its passive is also going to increase your elemental skill damage by 16%. I think it's 32% at R5, which you should have if you actually are an OG player and have one of these. But then it also increases your elemental skill crit rate, which is going to be good for 7 DPS, that kind of stuff. Basically just increasing your crit rate on your E skill. So the 5-star options, the Skyward Blade is a great option to use because it's going to actually increase your crit rate by 4% with its passive right here. And also when you cast your burst, it's increased movement speed, which is really nice considering that Kuki is a Shinobu, you know. You some extra stuff with the normal and charge attacks for that 12 seconds. Not really too useful on here, but it does have a good amount of energy recharge at 55%, so it's going to be very good for emblem set users and basically getting your burst to have good uptime. The Primordial Jade Cutter is probably going to be the better option for like damage overall, I would say, especially since it also does have this HP in its passive right here, so that's going to be really good for overall damage. I definitely think this is probably going to be best in slot on Kuki Shinobu, but also gives you that extra attack based on your max HP. So mainly what this weapon gives you is that 44% crit rate, which is going to be extremely valuable. Sword is also another one of these like best in slot kind of weapons to use on Kuki Shinobu, just because this one's going to give you a lot of support, so you're going to be getting some extra like damage. And that's also going to give your like teammates some extra like normal charge and plunging attack damage, so very good right here. It also has an elemental mastery ascension at 198. So that's going to be really good in terms of how it converts to like extra damage and healing. For Forge, it's not really going to be too usable, I would say, but you can get up to 2 stacks of this by using like the passive on here, because that's going to be able to stack up to twice from using your elemental skill and elemental burst. So you're going to be able to get up to like 16% elemental damage bonus from that on top of that 12% elemental damage bonus, so could be pretty nice. And then it also does have 44% crit damage, so this honestly would be better. This is a better option than running like a Black Glove Sword, just in terms of general base stats. And then Auto Sword, the Haran Geppaku Futsu. This weapon's going to be pretty good because it does have crit rate as its ascension. It does have less than the whatever it is, the Jade Cutter, but yeah, it's going to make up for that with its passive right here, where it gives you 12% all elemental damage bonus. And when the other nearby party members use elemental skill, the character equipping this weapon will gain 1 wave spike stack. Each stack of wave spike consumed will increase normal attack damage by 20%, so really that second part isn't really going to matter too much. So honestly, it's a choice between like the Mist Splitter and this weapon, honestly I would say. But yeah, anyway, that's about it for the video. Let me know if you guys liked it down in the comments section below, and remember to subscribe, because only about 7% of you guys that watch my videos are subscribed. But anyway, it's been me, Arctic. I will see you guys in the next one. Farewell.
Still living